surface up on the car so that no air could get inside the radiators. They know you were going to blow the car to bits, but they wanted that record, and they've got it to this day.
I think Peter Dumbrek holds the record for the highest flight.
Yeah, highest flight. Yes. So fastest down the Mulsanne was the W Volta car. Highest down the Mulsanne was Peter Dumbrek. Oh, of course, Mark Webber did the same thing, didn't he?
Twice.
And said, I've never come back to Le Mans.
It's your duel, and Sébastien Bourdais has dropped straight into the middle of this battle. You better make sure your outlap's quick, because everything else is measured almost against it. And when you've got somebody on your tail, you need to take care.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is teammates butting against each other. Sébastien Bourdais, Scully Dixon. They have a history, of course, pleasant, indeed. But nobody like beating more than your own teammate, and this will be bragging rights within the same team. The 68 car versus 69 at the moment.
Now let's look at the wider picture of that at the moment. We've had now 6 hours racing, and those 3 Fords are 6 seconds apart. That's remarkable. That's quite extraordinary. I'm sure Jeremy will have something to say about that when he comes on back on there in a short time.
Well, you know, they may well have been hobbled, but it seems that they are coping with it beautifully. Likewise, Malucelli, his Ferrari likewise had some performance dialed down, extra weight, etc. Flashing lights still going on. This is not to pass Bourdais just for the time being. I don't believe anyway. Let's have a look. But that's the battle for second place. Ferrari is still leading just for now. We're just waiting to circulate through with its next series of changes. They've all taken 6. The 6 stops, that is the lead 5 in GT Pro.
So there are the two that are together. That's Bourdais and Dixon. Then just behind them, about 5 seconds behind Billy Johnson, and they are running, just to confirm, in 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. But the point I'm making, after 6 hours racing, to have those cars covered by just 6 seconds, that shows just how equal the performance is and the drivers.
Time for a bit of 69 on board here. We have Malucelli out front. In fact, he took the lead of this class in the pit stops. So I don't know whether it's more tardy for the Fords, but nonetheless, it's Ferrari out front in this class.
Well, of course, and the difference between these 2 Fords as well is that Scott Dixon has been on board now for a couple of stints. I think he may well have used tyres on there. Bourdais, as he's a new driver getting in, will definitely have a new set, I would imagine. So, yeah, that's the leader in the Ferrari. So Bourdais should be able to stay in front of Dixon, and I believe he's pulling away a little bit, isn't he?
4.5 seconds is the deficit just for the time being for the lead Ford in the hands of Sébastien Bourdais, and we've got a super slow art shot and a series of them for you. Take any of these and put them on your wall.
I thought I saw Fonzie in the back of that Corvette.
Really?
Did you know Jordan Taylor's dog?
Oh right, okay. Well, there was a weight penalty, and we're reliably informed by Mark Cole that the average spaniel weighs 15 kilos?
20 kilos.
20. There we are.
The average Cocker Spaniel, called Teddy, weighs 20 kilos.
You're feeding him too much. Here we go. Excuse me. 93 laps. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near the lap record here, but you never know. The clouds that have bedeviled us seem to have absolutely dissipated. It's turning into rather a clear sky. Because of the lack of heat throughout the day, apparently we're expecting a very, very chilly night. 14 Celsius as a maximum, possibly going down to as low as 9 Celsius. So if you're here listening in, don't know how you're managing it, but well done if you are, then you need to wrap up tonight. Possibly a little bit of respite from the rain for the poor souls who are in the campsites, which are a little bit muddy.
Yeah, let's hear it for them. Most of them have been there for 3 or 4 days. They've had the worst of the rain, of course, and just when we thought it was all over, it appeared again, didn't it, at 2 o'clock today, and we had this wet start to the race. We're still trying to think if there ever was a start behind the safe car at Le Mans. Audi and Porsche have racked their collective brains and they can't remember it, so I certainly can't in the 35 years I've been coming here.
Well, there's been an awful lot of toings and froings here. Possibly the most complex one was Jeremy Shaw trying to get into the racetrack itself. He had a couple of goes at it. It could have been even more serious, to be honest, because our muscle power, he would have actually had the vehicle stranded in the aforementioned mud. We're looking at the leader right now. More on Jeremy Shaw and his attempts to get into the stadium a little later on. Kobayashi leads then ahead of Bernhardt and Davidson's Toyota, making it a Toyota 1 and 3 at the moment. So there's filling in the sandwich is Bernhardt running in the number 1 Porsche as we speak, with Gianni's Porsche in the 4th place, and the Audi of De Grazzi, and Fassler's Audi, the number 7, is up to 7th place now. Absolutely outstanding. Great piece of retrieval. Only 2 laps down. Do not count them out. Just under 18 hours remaining then. Just doing a brief mental tally. You could probably hear my brain fizzing, to be honest. It's 4 laps from the second place, 5 laps from the top for the Rebellion. On 87 laps, the leader's on 94, so a brief bit of maths. 7 laps behind is the Fassler car.
But he is hauling in that Rebellion. That's a good point, and that's the 2-lap gap that you mentioned from the Rebellion is ahead of him. The number 13 Reb, which is one that hasn't had the problem. Matteo Tuscia, the youngest driver in the race, 19 years old, and as we keep reminding everyone, 2nd overall in the World Drivers' Championship, thanks to those 2 podiums at Silverstone and Spa.
There we are. We will be having a change of personnel fairly soon, but don't forget we'll be here for the entire 24 hours.
I can sigh of collected relief from our audience.
Yes, I'll be going to a darkened room where they just feed me cognac-covered sultanas. Oh no, that's a wood bunting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another recipe.
Pizza. You like pizza, don't you?
Yeah, and just remember, guys, that those tweets coming, plenty to go, plenty of long time to go, and we've got 18 hours of racing ahead of us yet. As Toyota continuously, Porsche, Toyota and Porsche. Where's Audi, you're saying, if you're just joining us? Well, Audi, if it wasn't for problems, wouldn't have any luck at all, would it? So if it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all, Zil.
Yeah, and of course they're down to 2 cars, as is Porsche this year, so they don't have another one to call upon, do they? They're running 5th and 7th at the moment.
Tom Christensen, when he came and joined us for a while, said that doesn't mean you give up. He said the second car may not be in contention now, but the amount of data you can collect from that car and have the other one out, you try tyres out you're not sure about, you can try all sorts of things.
Well, of course, they'll never give up, and you know, at the very worst, they'll use this as an extended test session for the number 7. But I wouldn't, definitely not rule even that out, because there's just under 18 hours left, and anything can happen. And it's getting to the point of the evening where the sun is really low, that we spoke about earlier, and it makes it difficult because it just pierces the driver's eyes, and it's really difficult to focus, and really difficult to see the limits and the edges of the track.
It was almost poetic the way you described that.
Hardly.
But these pictures certainly living art, as Carlton was saying earlier. Here's Kamui Kobayashi-san, Japanese driver. This is his 2nd participation. He's had a 5th place here. Let's just look quickly while we're looking at Toyota. This is their 5th generation of prototypes. So I'm going to cut that.
That's a shame.
That's the Pegasus car. This is the only surviving Morgan. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I think they're doing their level best.
Ines Tatting of the Champagne family. So she's gone straight on at Mulsanne corner and buried the car in the tyre wall.
Well, I'm not sure whether it took a spin before it actually got to that point. We're just, of course, hoping that she is okay. Let's have a look at it. Still can't see, to be honest.
No, she just outbraked herself,
yeah,
Carlton.
One of the few open cars, as you can see. So if you happen to be in the grandstand, you probably see some blushes there. It's been a handful throughout.
Yeah, so Damien, what happens? She's in the wall. What do you do now?
Stay in the car. There is a rule, of course, that if you get out of the car and walk away, I think it's a few meters, it is, something like that.
So she's onto the team?
Of course, she's onto the team. The team will be telling her to stay in the car, stay buckled up, and wait for help. Of course, she's not going to get out. It's a gravel trap, so she's going to get beached. So someone will come, there'll be a yellow flag, there'll be a slow zone, and we're just seeing that yellow at zone 20, just a yellow at the moment.
Now, the only good thing in her favour, she's in a dangerous position. If she stays in the car, they can pull her out of the gravel onto the hard standing, and hopefully she can get the car fired up and get it back to the pits.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah, it's a lucky place, to be honest. If she wasn't in a dangerous position, she'd be left to it.
That's the point,
That's when the exclusion zone, I think it's 2 meters, so 6 feet away from the car, so you can't really stand too far back to appreciate or assess the damage, to be honest. Somebody asking about LED lights. You'll see 1, 2 or 3 down the side of the leading 3 cars. We're going to take ourselves a break. Some of you will be enjoying the 24 Minutes magazine after this.
19 and 20.
Porsche представляет гонку 24 часа Лимана на каналах Евроспорт.
Только избранным дано управлять миром. Наслаждаться непревзойденным уровнем комфорта, где самые изысканные материалы сочетаются с передовыми технологиями. Избранным доступна роскошь в самом современном воплощении. Новый BMW 7 серии. Самый инновационный BMW.
За каждой бутылкой Велкопоповицкий козел безалкогольное мастерство пивоваров, влюбленных в свое дело. Здесь мы вертимся как белка в колесе. Работаем со вкусом. Для того, чтобы не хвастаться мастерством, а наслаждаться им вместе со всеми. Велкопоповицкий козел безалкогольное. Наслаждайтесь нашим мастерством.
Звучит как спорткар. Дарит чувство спорткара. Маневренный, как спорткар. И герб на нем свидетельство спорткара. Porsche Macan. Для тех, кто верит, что каждый автомобиль Porsche – это спорткар.
Все, что нужно, чтобы быть готовым к приключениям, которые вам и не снились. Outventure. Приключение начинается.
Звучит как спорткар. Дарит чувство спорткара. Маневренный, как спорткар. И герб на нем свидетельство спорткара. Porsche Macan. Для тех, кто верит, что каждый автомобиль Porsche – это спорткар.
Porsche представляет гонку 24 часа Лимана на каналах Евроспорт.
Hello and welcome to Le Mans 24 Minutes. We are live in the pit lane. We've had about just over 6 hours of racing so far of the greatest race on earth. It's great to have Tom Christensen with us again. Tom, conditions a little bit different now from when we started the race. We've had nothing but blue skies since that first hour of rain.
Yeah, it was a lot of downpour. Now they got into rhythm. The second and even the third drivers have been through. We just saw before that the return now. Lotterer just jumped in, the number 7. So through their problems, they've had a big setback. Everyone is starting through their second run in the cars pretty soon. As the sun get into your eyes, out of forest, down towards Indianapolis. It's now, soon the night will be there.
So they're getting a little bit sunstruck as they come to the low sun. And also today, Le Mans has been a little starstruck because there's been a very handsome collection of Hollywood stars here. Let's have a look at who we were visited by today.
Well, Alexander Wirtz took Brad Pitt around the circuit. Super G, Olympic gold medalist and multiple Alpine World Cup champion Axel Schwindel was on the grid, together with actors Brad Pitt, Jackie Chan and Jason Statham. Pierre Fillon, the ACO chairman, and the FIA president Jean Todt were also here.
This is one of the most thrilling, honorable motorsport experiences I've ever had.
Drivers, start your engines from the pit.
So, of course, great to see Brad Pitt, Jason Statham, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Dempsey, Jackie Chan, but it's great because they're not all just here to show their faces. They all have a deep love and connection with motorsport.
Yeah, they don't know, certainly. I mean, they are here, all of them, for the first time, and it's nice to see them being impressed of what the fantastic acting they have done on so many great movies. So it's great to see them here, and they're all very inspired. I mean, I had the pleasure of also now spending time with Jason Statham, taking him to a few corners, and he really loves it too.
Of course, he's famous for Fast and Furious franchise. Jackie Chan, who owned one of the teams here, KCMG, was in Cannonball Run. Keanu Reeves has a motorbike company, and Brad Pitt got a ride with Alex Wirtz. So a brilliant day out for these Hollywood stars. Now, down to the important business. LMP1 has been very exciting so far. The lead keeps changing. Just your overall impression.
Great. A three-horse race, and Toyota's showing incredibly strong pace. Kobayashi making the fastest lap not long time ago, and very exciting. Porsche seems to have the upper hand in control, but I'm not quite sure. When I just pass by there, the concentration and determination is there, listening on the radio calls. It's all, you know, there's tension, and it's lovely. Audi have the little setback, or big setback, with 7, car 8. They hopefully will go well when they get into the tire compound, which might go more than 3 stints, what they have been doing at this so far.
Well, we're just standing. Only minutes ago, we saw Marcel Fassler get out and Andre Lotterer get in. But if you have been following the race so far, here's what's been happening in LMP1 up to this point.
The 84th edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans starts behind the safety car.
Well, Brad Pitt waved off the field with the tricolor, and due to the monsoon that hit the pre-grid, the cars were waved off under the safety car. And the field actually followed the safety car for 8 laps and 52 minutes before they went green. And it wasn't long before the number 6 Toyota of Mike Conway hit the front and started to set the pace, overtaking Loic Duval, the number 8 Audi, Timo Bernhard in the number 1 Porsche, and Neil Yarni in the number 2 Porsche to take the lead after the hour. In the sister car, the number 5 Toyota, Swiss driver Sebastian Buemi was also on the move, and the Toyotas were soon 1-2. After the first pit stops, though, it was Brendan Hartley in the 1 Porsche, the Kiwi, that took the lead. And surprisingly, the number 7 Audi, running so strongly early on, hit trouble. And it wasn't until 6 laps later that Benoit Trullier was wheeled back out of the garage. We had to change the turbocharger. Quite surprisingly, I can't remember the last time we had a problem with the turbo, but it happened, and the boys did a really good job by changing it. 20 minutes. It's very particular, of course, but for the race, it's unacceptable. Also, one car was in trouble. The sister car, the number 8 Audi of Loic Duval, took the lead, and Brendan Hartley in the number 1, unperturbed, took that back going into one of the chicanes on the Mulsanne. As the Toyotas marched on, the number 6 of Sebastian Buemi almost forced into a mistake by one of the LMP2 cars there. And after the second pit stop, Mike Conway it was that was out behind Brendan Hartley. After 2.5 hours, it was Porsche, Toyota and Audi separated by less than 3 seconds. Mike Conway close to the back of Brendan Hartley, setting the fastest lap on the way.
I was pretty cautious in the first two stints. It's longest that we've been on tyres so far because we've had lack of testing and qualifying in the wet conditions. We didn't know how long we could make the tyres last. Just keep on track and long way to go, but it's nice to be leading on.
With Kiwi Brendan Hartley out of the car already, it was the turn of Mike Conway to jump out of the 6 Toyota after an outstanding quadruple stint. Kamai Kobayashi took the wheel.
Seems to be getting better as the stint's on, so we just lost a little bit of time to Porsche on the third stint. Then we seem to catch a little bit towards the end again, though. I think we always get that with the first set of tyres you're trying to go 3 stints with, so I think it'll get better for us as the day goes on.
Oh, whilst Anthony Davidson had a problem with a puncture in the 5 Toyota, the number 1 Porsche continued to lead. Mark Webber at the wheel of that, followed by Kamui Kobayashi at the wheel of the number 6 Toyota. Kamui Kobayashi with the fastest lap of the race so far, and he leads Mark Lieb in the 2 Porsche.
That's
by
the story
40
so far, and
seconds.
just to bring you bang up to date, the number 6 Toyota is leading by 14 seconds from the Porsche number 1, from Porsche number 2, Toyota number 5, and Audi number 8. Now, Tom and I have been joined by Dr. Ulrich. It's excellent to see you here outside the number 8 pit garage. How do you see how this first section of the race, the first 6 hours, has gone for your team so far?
It started very exciting because with the heavy rain we had, it was a very special beginning. I think it was the very first time in the history of the 24 hours of Le Mans that race was started behind the pace car. If it right down, then we've been the first ones that changed to slick tires, and this was a good move. So we went with the car number 7 in the lead. Unfortunately, we've been catching a technical problem, a completely unexpected one. We had a problem with the turbocharger and had to change the turbocharger. The guys did a tremendous job and changed it in 20 minutes. But for sure, it was not what we hoped that we had to do. The race was then bouncing back and forward. The car number 7 is now 6 laps back. The car number 8 was always skipping in the lap with the leaders. We are now, depending from how the pit stop runs, in about 20 to 40 minutes behind the car that is on 2nd and 3rd position. So we keep on fighting there.
And we just saw Andre Lotterer getting in the car. Were there any special instructions for the stint for him? What do you want to see from Andre to make up some places?
Yeah, no, I know that. I mean, Andre was very strong at the beginning of the race. I know he's going to be strong again. But I have to say that we have really 2 nearly identical strong squads with the 6 guys we have. And I'm happy that we have these drivers.
Excellent. Now, Tom, it's pretty impressive that the team managed to change the turbo in 20 minutes. 20 minutes is still a long time in a 24-hour race.
It is, and particularly it hits hard when it's in the beginning of the race. It's absolutely very challenging, and it's a setback to keep driving back, and they have to do it. There's a world championship fighting on as well, you have to remember. So the boys, there's no doubt they will do it, and they can take a little bit more risk in trying to get back. But normally, without problems on the other cars, the win is out of the hands of number 7. But you can only win with 1 car, and that's the whole grid is thinking that. But of course, the 3-horse race is still on. With Toyota leading, Porsche is now comfortable 2nd, and with car number 8 still very much in the hot fire. Because this race, the night is very, very important for the pace what you carry through the night, and that's still very open.
Do you think of Tom's doing his new job as a presenter for us?
I'm quite sure he's doing it great, as he did a great job with us for many years.
He certainly did. Thank you very much, Dr. Ulrich. Thanks, Tom. We're just hearing that car number 1, Porsche, is under investigation and it is in the pits, that halfway down the pit lane. So we'll find out more about that after this break.
Завтра в прямом эфире на Евроспорт 2. Route du Sud. 5-й этап. Ноттингем, Англия. За неделю до Уимблдона устройтесь поудобнее и наслаждайтесь красивой игрой. С понедельника в прямом эфире на Евроспорт 1. ATV Ноттингем.
So welcome back to Le Mans 24 minutes. We are live in the pit lane. It's pretty frantic around here. The sun is setting behind the grandstands. We still have Tom Christensen alongside me. So we don't quite know yet what's happening with the number one Porsche team, but there's clearly something going on. The Toyotas are still leading, and I think Liz managed to catch up with Kamui Kobayashi quite recently.
Kamui, we've passed the 6-hour mark, or near enough, a 1,000-kilometer race. The fight at the front, especially between Toyota and Porsche, is very, very strong.
Yeah, I think very tight for each other, but looking pretty good for ourselves. I think we had one more lap, longer stint, which is advantage for us. So, you know, now we know our pace, and I think we can manage without trouble. I think this is the most important thing. So, take it not too over pressure and just be quiet, and hopefully I think we have to bring the car without any trouble.
And we're just coming into the night time now. Is the plan to do 4 stints for each driver?
Well, I think if we could manage, I think we could, but yeah, I think it depends how we can do. For the moment, I think it depends how it goes. For the moment, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
So Kamui Kobayashi doing a really good job in there. There are 16 drivers here currently in this race this year with Formula One heritage. Firstly, does that discipline lend itself naturally to endurance racing?
From the driving technique for sure, and the commitment of the driver and obviously expertise. What you need here really much to gel with other drivers, and it seems very good personalities in other ways has to suit each other and get a good have to get a good flow in terms of communication, be honest, be open, all the things which you tend to see a little bit from one. It's very narrow-minded, a lot of pressure, particularly from the media every 14 days. Then with the WEC it's a bit less. People enjoy it here, but particularly at Le Mans, it really shows if there is some friction. Kobayashi has been very relaxed, like the attitude he came in with, was relaxed for the race. So it seems like he was able to bring that comfortable onto his first stints in the race in the LMP1 car.
I'm talking a little bit about Toyota. Obviously, they're leading the race now. The weight of history is upon them because they haven't won here at Le Mans. What will be going through the team's mind, the driver's mind, with a quarter of the race gone already and they're leading?
The whole Japan is really crossing fingers for them because they have tried so many times, and the only Japanese manufacturer has won here is the screaming rotary engine with Mazda. So there's no doubt that Toyota really aims high trying to win. We know last year they were nowhere, and they have made a very good job coming back and already showing the pace they show now. There's no doubt the pressure is on everyone, but I'm very impressed with the race so far from Toyota as well.
We just saw a pit stop there for the number 61 Ferrari. I think we should have Simon Kupf has an interview. Do we have Simon Kupf with Brendan Hartley?
Things are running perfectly well for you guys at the moment. The race is really close. Give us a little insight of how much risk is the driver taking in a moment like this, in this stage of the race.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it obviously on the road. That's the most important thing here in Le Mans, but unfortunately we just lost 40 seconds to the Toyota. They missed the slow zone, so yeah, they were able to pit while the slowdown was going on. So yeah, a bit disappointing. We've lost the lead of the race, but long way to go. We've got to keep doing what we're doing. We had a good start to the race, and the strategy guys are doing a good job, mechanics are doing a good job, engineers. So yeah, just keep it on track and keep doing what we're doing.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's interesting. Thanks, Simon, from Brendan Hartley. It looks like they're getting ready for a pit stop here at Porsche, so we're trying to stay as much out of the way as possible. So talk to us a little bit about Porsche. Big win last year. They're fighting at the front now for a win. What's the strategy for them, think?
The strategy is always to go go as fast as possible without taking any necessary risk. But you have to take a lot of risk to do the pace you're already doing. Otherwise, you're never going to make it. So it's to be comfortable. And I think they have shown pace, but it's irritating if they lose a little bit of time. Like if other have a strategy, some miss the slow zone knot, which gives a setback. Obviously, you can hear it's a bit irritating, and that nerves and that gets on the tension when you are potentially in the car. So it's getting tough, and you also feel the pressure of not retaining the crown again, like anyone.
And it's unusual this year because, of course, Nico Hülkenberg isn't here to retain the title, but you can tell in that crew, particularly Mark Webber's crew, they really want to win. They came close last year. They really want this.
Of course, everyone really wants this, but you have to think moment, and they're doing that. And you can hear the radio communication, the way they are comfortable. But for sure, a few sets back, a little bit mistakes in terms of strategy. The heat is very much on, and the pace Toyota has shown, I think it's very good in the changeable condition. And in the night is changeable condition already with lower temperatures. So
it looks like we have to be very careful now because the #1 Porsche is about to swing in. Porsche 1 is coming through the Porsche curves, appropriately named, and is on its way into the pit lane to see us. Now, as we wait for that to happen, of course, there are plenty of Porsches represented in GTE Pro. In a minute, we're going to have a look at the highlights of GTE Pro, but we've got the two winners from last year in LMP1 in GTE Pro. How much of a downsize is that for them?
Yeah, Earl Bamber, Nick Tandy did a fabulous job last year, both of them. Nick Tandy was superior through the night in his debut in the LMP1 car. So that takes a beat for him, but nevertheless, people know what he can do and still a young peddler. And they will for sure maybe be reunited in future again with Nico Hülkenberg. That's for sure. It takes beat, but they still have a good job.
Well, let's see if this car is... So let's hang on here and have a look and watch the car come in. And Tom, what would be great is if you can talk us through the process that's going on as the car comes in live here on Le Mans 24 Minutes. So the car's coming in. If you could take over, just tell us exactly what the procedure is.
Here we go, and he has a good eye on the lollipop man, and he will stop inch perfect. As now you can see, he'll just touch the board and it will move low. They're on. It's cleaning the screens, cleaning the taking off, tear off of the light, cleaning the front windscreen, giving him another water bottle. The refueling is going on, so you can only watch with a lamp, the technician on the brakes, watch the tires, and the refueling will come up in a second. And immediately the refueling go off, the car will move.
Incredible. Amazing.
A well-executed stop, well-orchestrated, and they have done this hundreds of times in practice to make this inch and very good, perfect.
Thanks, Tom. Great job. So now, let's have a look at what's happened so far in GTE Pro.
Well, the battle in GTE Pro started with Ford on pole, Ferrari following, and the Porsches as outsiders. Well, the Porsche 92 enjoyed the rain and led the race for the first 2 hours as problems hit the 51 Ferrari. The 91 Porsche of Nick Tandy and the 92 of Earl Bamber, the 2015 winners, were fighting it out in GTE Pro, but it was Ford that hit the front with the 68 overtaking the 69. Problems for the 91 Porsche as overheating took its toll, and that was back in the garage at around 7:30 local time. It was the 68 Ford, the 66 Ford and the Ferrari 82 separated by less than a second. A big fight between those three. Just before the 9-hour mark, it was the 68 Ford taking a margin of around 25 seconds.
67, 68, 69, the numbers of the cars, and it looks like Ford possibly could be on to do it again.
Oh yeah, it's early days, but they've shown what they did in qualifying under the changeable conditions. They're taking it into the race. They're through the first pit stop, and they are 1, 2, and 4. And in that sense, Ferrari is for sure the pressure is on. Into the rhythm.
In terms of the Ferraris and the Porsches, the Aston Martins, and the chance for Corvette to win again like they did last year. It looks like it's all Ford at the moment, but have they got the technology to go through the night? We don't know.
I would assume so. They made the debut at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and they were pretty fast. They had some issues, but they have done miles since, and good drivers on board as well. Good team, 4 cars. That shows the effort they have done to come back. But Ferrari, don't underestimate them through the night. They have the experience. The setback is a little bit on both Porsche and Corvette. The BOP, it's how you spell it, and let's not talk about that, but that's always a fighting point within this great category.
Well, at the moment, the balance of power is less than 10 seconds between the top 3 in GTE Pro, so both of the main categories here are racing incredibly closely. I think Liz Halliday should be at Ford right now with Oliver Blah.
Thank you, Neil. Yes, I'm here with Olivier. Ford is possibly on the brink of making history in their return since 1969. Did you expect the car to be so strong here at Le Mans before you came?
Well, we were expecting something, but it was the first time for us here with this car at this track. So, but it's actually a very good surprise. I think the whole Ford team have been working incredibly hard to prepare this car at its best, and no, we are really happy at the moment.
And of course, now we're heading into the night. It's always a question of reliability. Do you have a plan for the stints through the night yet?
The plan is to push hard.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. Back to you, Neil.
Well, I don't know if you saw that, because quick as a flash, that Porsche just left. Took a little bit of fuel, splash and dash, and it's gone. But don't you go anywhere, because we're right back after this break.
Завтра в прямом эфире на Евроспорт 2. Route du Sud. 5-й этап. Завтра в прямом эфире на Евроспорт 2. Этап чемпионата мира по супербайку в Италии.
At the heart of the Superbike World Championship with Elf.
Welcome back to Le Mans 24 minutes. Now the sun is just properly setting behind the grandstand. Now, I know that you said it's hard for driver visibility, but for everyone else, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, for everyone else. It's also beautiful for most of the lap around, but basically it's out of the forest onto Indy. Very irritating.
Now, we have started with 60 cars. We've already had a couple of cars still in trouble. Shame, real shame for this. The 89, the Weather Proton, Cooper McNeil was struck sick. He had a fever, so he couldn't race. And the reserve driver wasn't allowed to drive because I think the ACO deemed he hadn't done enough laps.
Yeah, you need to do laps during practice. You can't change driver normally after not taking part in practice.
But this isn't something that we see very often. Talk a little bit about how the reserve driver works.
That's the challenge of Le Mans, and you have to be ready to. You have to be ready to go.
We're just being moved onto this over this white line by the marshal. Yeah, so, but I think, sorry, 2009 when
no, for me, basically, to be two drivers, that's always a chance to shine. And at Le Mans, two drivers is incredibly tough. Andre Lotterer, for example, I think he showed really good promise. When he had one of his teammates, Katikeyan, unfortunately fell when he crawled the pit wall just before the start of the race, and had to sit down I think with a broken collarbone. And Albers, I believe, and Lotterer did the entire race, and Lotterer, particularly at night, really good introduction with a private Audi car from the team colors. And the year after, he was signed by Dr. Ulrich and joined us, and have so far done it extremely well.
So it pays off to get sort of 1.5 time overtime to do that one race with two drivers. I think a few doors down at Porsche, we have Mark Kupfer with Mark Miller.
Yes, Mark, this has clearly not been your day. First of all, you could only start with two drivers, and you were pretty good in the race. Tell us a little bit what you think. How was the situation for you guys till you crashed out?
Well, it's unfortunate to not have a third driver, but I mean, the way I look at Le Mans and growing up seeing history from this race, it's always been two drivers before it became three, and those cars were much harder to drive back then than what we have now. So I thought we had a great opportunity. It's not necessarily the drive time that was going to be so difficult, because that's not the hard part. It's the recovery time, and you need to make sure you get the right amount of recovery. And we thought we had a plan sort of to make that work. So, I mean, I thought we had a great opportunity, especially looking at the leaderboard and where we were sitting and the pace of both of our drivers, with Lee and myself. I thought we had a great chance to be in the hunt for the whole race.
So even words for these guys. Thanks very much, Mark, for joining us.
Yeah, that is a real shame there, a real shame for that team, whether it's a Proton team. But there you go, it's Le Mans. They'll be back next year, I'm sure, and they'll fight again, whether they've got two drivers, three drivers, or one driver. Now, this driver is an absolute legend next to me, showed us a little bit more about the intricacies and the difficulties of what the safety car involves, which was particularly relevant because this race, for the first time ever, started under the safety car. Have a look at this.
Ok, on fait partir le safety car avec Tom Christensen.
So let's take a lap. At this magical track. Normally arriving here close to 300. Start second gear, the Dunlop chicane. Kiss the curb on left. A little bit more on the right. of this track. Unlikely top speed, depending on the wind, down towards the first chicane. Hard on the brakes in this official safety car. It's good to be home, 6th gear, 7th gear, up to the Michelin chicane. The sun is out. Fast in, but even fast out from the right hand. Very important to keep the momentum on these straights to achieve good benefit. Into Ulsan corner, we are told there's some oil from here. Oil from the track from here and all the way to the finish line. Beautiful section going down to Indianapolis. Very slippery, I feel that. Indianapolis using the bank, a bit of the curb, accelerating up to the slowest part of the track, the Arnage corner. Beautiful section, setting you up for the very demanding Porsche corners. Here they are up to 270, 280, the prototypes through here. It's very blind, even at daytime. Maison Blanc very fast, 1 gear down, setting you up to karting, where it can easily bite you. As the road drops off and the car really want to get out towards the curb. That was 1 lap at Le Mans. We just missed the 4th chicane, where you need a good flow to set you up for a perfect lap. But personally, it was nice to be back and just to test the tracks for this year's edition.
That's a fascinating insight there, Tom Christensen. While we were watching that, we saw what I think is the number 67 Ford has gone into gravel, which is a real shame. That's one of those cars down. When you are driving the safety car, not that you've necessarily done it as a job, what are the skills that are essential to keep the cars behind, the LMP1 cars who are raring to go?
Yeah, obviously I had the opportunity last year to lead the field around, and you simply are. No, this year we didn't get that start, obviously, but you're really driving the lap, so you start exactly on the point, 15.00. So you are leading up. In the end, you are going down from 110 to 80 to 60. And when you approach out of karting and you approach the last chicane, and you hear the field, you hear them. Sensation of this year's at the start, but the safety car driver at the start is on a time plan, so he has to drive very, very good in that, and he has a guy next to him to tell him to slow down, and I had that as well, and it was slowing down quite a lot.
Who tells Tom Christensen to slow down? Nobody. If you look carefully over social media over the next 24 hours, you should be able to see a 3D virtual reality version of that as well appearing online. Well, the pink fluffy clouds, the sun's going down, we're about to move into the night, and driving at night, as this man knows, is a very special set of skills. Allow Tom Christensen to explain.
night at Le Mans very special. Let's talk about driving at night. You can't get further away from the pit area than here. In a gear, you are arriving flat out into this heavy braking zone, pulling more than 4 Gs in trying to reach the perfect apex here at Ulsan corner. Driving at night a few years ago was dark all around the track, except around the pit area, which created a little bit of irritation and the eyes to adjust, and then you left, you are out in the dark again. Now, specific places has brilliant floodlight, and the floodlight creates this stadium atmosphere, and the fans love it because they can identify the cars or the favorite cars or driver better than before, even at night. And driving at night also means that the cooler air temperatures helps the aerodynamics. It's better for the engine and ideally also better for tires, maybe softer on brakes. But it has to be that you hit the targets. So basically when you leave the pit area, you immediately have to create temperatures and keep it on the limit. Try to look into that zone where you can perform the best as possible. It's difficult visibility. Sometimes you really don't see where you are, but you have to feel it. You have to feel it inside you when you are hitting these targets all around the circuit. The driver who takes it into the night, takes it through the dusk, and then in the night gives it to the next driver who will be completely into the night through his stint of about 3 hours in average, giving it to the third driver who will then have the benefit of initially the dark night, but then he comes out and take a little bit of the early light from the morning and getting into the sunrise. We call it the happy hour. It's a perfect time to be in the car. And when you perform well there, it's brilliant. And then there's only about 9 hours to the end of the race.
Tom, that's extraordinary. I can't imagine what it must feel like to drive around here at low speed at night. And watching you now, watching the cars, I can see in your eyes that you'd quite like to be driving it again, honestly.
Oh yeah, obviously, I envy them, but that's not I'm a rookie, I'm learning, and that's what I'm doing now, is being here with you. But the night is magical, mythical, and it's coming in the next hour, so you get into the dark zone, and the drivers are just wanting to find that very much. Coming out, really hitting the target immediately. There's nothing better when that happens. If not, it can be the opposite, and it can be a terrible feeling. So night is very special.
And just before we finish today's show and carry on with the race, how do you think the next few hours are going to go as it goes into the dark? It's so open.
It's so open. What they're analyzing seems to try 4 stints on the tires in the LMP1 cars. At the same time the temperature goes down, that means the switch to the softer compound, which I know they have in the back, all of the teams. When they do that is to go 4 stints or swap to the softer compounds. That's something that's really going through the mind. And so it will be at least another 2 or 3 hours before we see who has the upper hand and start at the beginning of night.
Fantastic, Tom. Thank you very much from all of the team here. Keep watching the race, obviously, but we're standing right outside the box of the Toyota that is leading the race with Stefan Sarthe behind the wheel. Will he still be doing that when we come back in the morning? There's only 17 hours racing still to go. We'll see you in the morning, but keep watching Le Mans 24 hours.
Porsche представляет гонку 24 часа Лимана на каналах Евроспорт.
За каждой бутылкой велкопопытский козел безалкогольное мастерство пивоваров, влюбленных в свое дело. Здесь мы вертимся как белка в колесе. Работаем со вкусом. Для того, чтобы не хвастаться мастерством, а наслаждаться им вместе со всеми. Велкопопытский козел безалкогольное. Наслаждайтесь нашим мастерством.
Shining stars, our love is Лето – это момент. Насладись им. Пепси.
Регистрируй промокоды на stadionprizov.ru. Выиграй стадион призов.
Звучит как спорткар. Дарит чувство спорткара. Маневренный, как спорткар. И герб на нем – свидетельство спорткара. Porsche Macan. Для тех, кто верит, что каждый автомобиль Porsche – это спорткар.
А это наш полдома. Тебе хорошо видно? А вот сарай. Мама.
Что там?
Мам, я перезвоню.